Hello, welcome to Little Bits of Wellness. Today we're doing a 6-week progress check-in. Hello again. Welcome to Little Bits of Wellness. If this is your first time with our channel, I'm Julie. Every 6 weeks, I would like to do a progress check-in with you guys in an effort to hopefully have some accountability between us. If I check in, then maybe you can do a check-in on yourself and see what your progress is. I'd love for you to share the progress down in the comments with me. You can also email us with your progress measurements, weight, how you're feeling, just an overall check-in on how you're doing with your progress. How are you managing your nutrition? How is your exercise plan going? Do you have an exercise plan? Do you need an exercise plan? You can find our email address linked down below. You can write it in the comments if you would like. That way we can work together and keep each other accountable as we move forward. So let's get to it. Today I'm going to cover measuring your body, weighing yourself on the scale. We're going to talk about nutrition, and we're going to talk about workouts. Hopefully with all of this combined, we can get a good plan going so that you can reach your goal. So let's talk about how nutrition is going real quick. For me, I am not currently following a strict diet regimen or meal plan of any sort. I've had, like 30 years of experience with dieting, not dieting, meal plans, no meal plan, flying by the seat of my pants experience. And it's important to think about what works for you, right? So what works for me is not necessarily going to work for you. It may not. It may work a little bit and you just have to tweak it a little bit so that it does fit your body type, your workout routine, your lifestyle, right? Because we all have different stuff going on. We all have different goals. But if your goal is to lose weight, build muscle, and maybe you hadn't thought about that, that's a good subject for another video. We'll go into some fitness goals or some health and wellness goals, okay? My personal goal is to lose some body fat and build muscle. So in order to do that, I do count calories a lot. I am not 100% on point with that, which is why I am still working on me, right? Because I do enjoy some chili cheese fries on occasion. And no food is bad. So when I say stuff like I enjoy chili cheese fries, it kind of sounds like I am saying that is a food that shouldn't be eating. However, there's no bad food, right? You can have any foods that you want within like balance and reason with a more supportive diet. 1 to 2 cups of vegetables per meal is kind of rough when you're first starting out. I still haven't mastered breakfast veggies so much. If you have any ideas of like great veg that you can incorporate into a breakfast type meal, please comment down below. Give a girl some tips, But for the most part, I do some egg whites They're not as bad as you might think. I was a little against it to begin with. It didn't sound appetizing, but I get the little jug of refrigerated egg yolk, or egg whites already separated out. That's a convenience matter for me. It helps me stay more consistent, so it could help you stay more consistent as well. If you prefer to separate out the yolk and the egg white yourself, have at it, great. It is time consuming, and then there's the matter of what do you do with the yolk if you're not gonna eat it? So cooking those egg whites, I throw some spinach in there, I throw some salsa on it, and sometimes some mushrooms if I've got some around fresh and the time availability to cut them up and throw them in there. If any of this doesn't sound good to you, no worries. Do what works for you. Nutrition, the biggest thing I have found throughout the years is I follow some different recipes, right? Because they're healthy, or some other guide or magazine or show says that this is just delicious, right? And so you try out the recipe. One that I can think of is with chickpeas. I love some hummus, like spinach, artichoke hummus, tastes delicious. I love that. Other than that, I am not a chickpea fan. I don't know. They don't taste that good to me. The texture's not there for me. It's just not my favorite thing. Also, cauliflower is a huge one that's used in many like healthy recipes, and it's just not my favorite veg. I just don't like it. And that's okay, right? I don't have to eat it. So as we're talking through stuff, as you're thinking through different foods that you could be eating, think about your taste, think about your preferences, because the only way you're going to be able to stick to your plan is if you actually like what you're trying to eat. A couple other breakfast options that I like. I work outside the home, so all of the things that I'm talking about are pretty easy to meal prep on Sunday and get ready for the week as you go into your work week. Again, meal prepping is huge to you staying consistent with your nutrition. And that's literally the key to everything is consistency, okay? Workout consistency, nutrition consistency. These are like the simplest part of the recipe that will get you to your goal. Also, the hardest part of the recipe, like ice cream is delicious. I like it. It throws me off course sometimes, so I don't know about you. There might be something for you as well that you see it and you resist it for a little bit and you talk yourself through not wanting to eat it, and then you eat it because it's delicious. And if you ate the ice cream, that's okay, right? We can have the ice cream, and then tomorrow we can reset towards the goal. Nothing with nutrition or exercise is gonna get you to your goal lickety split, right? It's just not how the body works. It's unrealistic to put the pressure on yourself of this magical transformation that's gonna get you there super fast, okay? The best thing to do, figure out some foods that you like, eat them consistently, right? They have the right amount of protein for you, a little bit of carbs to give your brain some energy, give you some energy, make it not suck so bad, right? Because when you start anything new, that's going to be rough. It's a transition. You're building a new habit, and that's fantastic. But you've got to know that you're gonna have to stick with it. You're gonna have to embrace the harder days, knowing that it will get easier, knowing you will get used to it, knowing that you will reach your goal. Okay, back to breakfast. The other two breakfasts that I am super successful with, super easy to make, overnight oats and yogurt. These are two things that I really enjoy eating. You can mix up flavors and play with what is inside each one, and then that makes it more interesting for eating, right? You're not eating the exact same flavor profile, and some people are cool with that. Some people, it is just fine to eat the exact same breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and no flavor changes. I don't like it. I get bored. I get eager to taste extra things or just to have stuff change up. So overnight oats usually consists of half of a cup of dry oats. I get the old-fashioned Quaker oatmeal. It's got the best texture for my preferences. Also, when you do the overnight oats, it's still got a little bit more of a firm, crispier texture versus the squishy version of oatmeal. I don't mind oatmeal on a pot, but absolutely at the same time, it is nicer, in my opinion, for the overnight oats. So the overnight oats, it's half a cup of dried oats. I usually use about half a cup, maybe 3/4 of a cup of unsweetened coconut milk. It gives it the nicer texture and flavor. I am not a super sugary sweet person. I have spent years kind of curbing down the amount of sugar I intake. I do use stevia products in order to have a little kiss of sweet in things, or I will just go for the natural fruit sweetness, or the protein already has a sweetness to it, so I don't need to add additional sugar or sweetness to it. So dried oats, coconut milk, and then I will add a scoop of whey protein. It's not just a scoop. I actually weigh out the amount of powder, because in order to hit roughly 40 grams of protein, I need a higher gram count of the protein. And I have a super cool food scale that I use in order to help me make these, and I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. Next, I like yogurt, so I use Yoplait Light and Fit vanilla Greek yogurt. The texture's thicker. It's not as crazy bitter as the plain Greek yogurt. For lunches, I generally stay to not so interesting foods. So I eat a lot of chicken. It's a lean, easy, inexpensive protein source, right? And depending on how you flavor it, you can get pretty creative, and you can change up the flavor so that your tongue doesn't get bored eating it. If you do get bored eating it or it's not your preference, some lean ground beef and then some steak if that works with your budget. The steak or those kinds of cuts of meat, I generally space out, right? We don't eat a ton of steak, but it is nice to throw that in there. It's just a change up for your protein. Then I use a carb. So usually a half a cup of whatever carb source, sweet potatoes, rice, sometimes regular potato. It's pretty simple. I don't get too creative here, just because most of the creativity goes into dinners, and I know if I packed my lunch for myself, then it's a little bit easier to stick to that, right? Then I'm not going to be eating out of my calories, and I'm not going to be taking in something that's not within my goals. So the dinners is where it gets a little trickier to stay on course. When I am following a super strict, I don't know if that's the right word, a more strict program, like truly sticking to calories and truly sticking to some of the macros that I'm after, then I will do more meal prepping, because I don't do as well with ad-libbing dinner. I have family of 4, 5 technically, but one of the kiddos is old enough and she moved out of the house. So family of 4 that is continually eating, and all of those taste profiles and not loving vegetable children and other factors that go into making dinner, right? Anybody else can relate? Okay. That's the thing with nutrition. So sometimes your family is not on board with what you're trying to do, and it makes it more challenging. It's an additional hurdle, speed bump, depending on how much or little they support you, that you'll have to have a game plan for. You'll have to think through how to take care of yourself and keep moving for your goal. And quite a bit of discipline, like you just being in charge of yourself, you accepting that power over yourself to make your good life choices. I do have a super supportive family, so I am blessed in that way that my family does support when I am actively pursuing health and fitness goals. In that, with supporting me, you can be supported by the people in your life without doing the exact same thing they're doing, right? So just because I need to eat a certain way in order to get my body to respond the way I would like it to, doesn't mean that everybody else needs to limit everything, right? My middle daughter, she is super thin. She can eat quite a bit of food and not gain weight because she has a super high metabolism, and that is fantastic. But if I were to try to feed her exactly like I'm eating, there's different nutritional needs for kiddos, right? And each kid has their own need, just like you and I. We have our different needs that works for us. And so I will, when I am going super into my nutrition plan, I will totally make myself an entirely different dinner that is in line with my goals. And then the family will have something else. And then when you feel yourself looking at what they're eating and maybe longing for some of that versus the super healthy meal you prepared yourself. Again, that's just that you empowering yourself to choose to eat what you prepared because it is what you want, right? It's more motivating when you think of the fact I have the choice. I can have pizza or I can have this delicious barbecued chicken with my rice and my broccoli, right? Or sub in veg that you like if you don't like broccoli. So that's kind of what we got to think about when we're thinking about nutrition. You got to decide what your goal is. Come up with a meal plan. There are plenty of programs out there. Do be mindful as you are buying programs. As you're buying programs, lots of them are super calorie restricted, like as strict as you can get, right? Most of them are like totally cutting out food groups, making different food items, say ice cream, is just a no-go. You just can't have it. It is not part of your plan. If you follow it to a T, it will be successful. You will be successful. You potentially will also be stressed out and get tired of it quickly and maybe burn out from it. So when you're thinking through your nutrition options, adjust as you need, right? There's, say, swimming, for instance. You're going to learn how to float. You're going to learn doggy paddle. You're going to learn how to swim before you go dive off of the diving board into the deepest end of the pool. That's generally not where you start. So thinking of being successful, any step is an excellent step, right? Any movement towards your goal is a good step, is a good movement, right? The reason I am talking through this so much is because in my personal experience, it's been very difficult to stay consistent with your nutrition when you're so restricted, right? There's only so long you can keep that kind of restriction on yourself before you just get tired of doing it, and then you go and binge eat the Oreo cookies. A check-in on my exercise. So currently I am following Stronger by the Day. It is a fitness app created by another YouTuber, Meg Squats. I love her. I love your program, Meg. Thank you so much for designing that. If you ever want to work together, I would be delighted. Okay, enough of that. So I follow her app. It's got a 4-day-a-week weightlifting program. There's a bonus day. I generally don't participate in the bonus day unless I'm just feeling extra energetic that week. I like the 4-day-a-week setup. It works for me, so I go Monday through Thursday. I also get up super early in the morning, around 4 a.m. because it works for my schedule and my family. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. If that doesn't work for you, find a time frame that does work for you. Also, with that workout program, I do roughly 30 minutes because that is what is currently working for me getting my fitness in and me working on my business and me going to my actual, 8-hour shift job, because YouTube's not making me money yet. Hopefully in the future, but at this time, I still hold a regular job. Then I come home and, dinner, kiddos, stuff going on. Can you relate? We're busy, right? So that's why I chose the workout time that I have chosen, because it is important enough to me to schedule time in my day and make it a priority so that I don't miss that. All that being said, I have been consistent for 3 weeks now. I did take a break in January to March. I took a significant break from my workout regime because it just was not working. I used to go in the afternoon, like after work. And then we had some schedule conflicts with kid activities, and it got too much, right? It got too much for me to keep up with that schedule. So I decided to take a break and meet other needs in my family and in my life. And now that that has calmed back down, I'm back going again. So, and this is why it's still a journey. This is why I'm still a little fluffy, right? I like food. And life happens, and I take breaks from my workouts. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with your life. Be patient and understanding and compassionate for you, because we all have stuff going on. And I could have let that derail me and just decided not to go back and continue my goal. But as far as I'm concerned, exercise, fitness, that is a huge part of my life. That is a huge part of who I want to be in the future and who I want to be now. So in order to do that, I have to just keep plugging away at it. So take the breaks you need, adjust times when you need, and then get back to it when life sorts itself out. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you liked this style of video. Every 6 weeks, gonna check back in, do the same type of thing. We're gonna talk through how the nutrition's going, talk through how the workouts are going, whether we've managed to stay consistent, any little extras that I can think of that potentially could help you in your journey to be successful. I hope that you do start a nutrition idea, even if it's just swapping out what you have for breakfast, even if it's just holding off on maybe some of the additional calories that you eat or drink. I'm hoping that you start a workout plan. Even if it's not an actual program, go to the gym. Figure out what works for you. Go on walks. Work out in your living room, right? Just start somewhere. Start where it works best for you. That way we can check in and kind of work together to move forward. Please give us a like. Down below, little thumbs up helps the video get promoted out to other people. It supports our channel. Please subscribe if you have not subscribed already. We really appreciate that extra support. We are working towards 100 subscribers right now. We are at 8. Thank you to my 8 subscribers. I deeply appreciate all of your love and support. And then we will see you in the next video on June 25th for me. So June 25th for me will be 6 weeks out from now. And whatever that 6 weeks is for you, write it on your calendar, stick it in your phone, and show up, and we will check in together.